desire was designed to have epic. And there's a lot of pastors and leaders out there that say David's desire is what led to his sin. I'm here to tell you today that David's sin wasn't that he desired. Let's listen to what Papa actually said to him in these passages. Everyone uses David as a warning story about desire. But when Papa confronts him through Nathan, he never mentions desire, actually. The reading is talked about how David looked, that David wanted, David desired, and then that was the actual disaster point, was his desire turned into disaster and sin. As you know, the story of King David and Bathsheba and how he had Uriah murdered, which was Bathsheba's husband. It's a very traumatic story and unfortunate. But what you hear is that desire is what led to that. And I'm here to challenge that today. Really, men learn that when it desire is a thing that desires the doorway to sin, they learn and believe that then desire is bad. That when I feel desire, I feel this incredible passion towards women and wanting a woman, then I need to shut it down. But shutting it down means they don't pursue, they don't build, they don't protect, they don't father even. It's the craziest thing how this snowballs. Desire is good. Desire is so beneficial for intimacy and epic marriage. Let's read the actual words of Nathan in 2 Samuel 12, 7 through 8. This is when Nathan comes, the prophet. Again, hopefully you know about the story about King David and Bathsheba. And what Nathan says is, I anointed you. I gave you your master's house. I gave you the house of Israel and Judah. And if that had been too little, I would have added to you much, much more. This is a fascinating verse. Fascinating that it gets used to make you and I feel guilty and shame about our desire, our drive, our passion for intimacy. Make us feel like we're dirty or something, that we did something wrong, but yet God designed it. And I will agree, when David was not out on the battlefield, it's true. That's where his desire and his passion should have been geared towards in that time. That's what it was set up to do. He's supposed to be off at battle. But to shut it down, desire completely, and not pursue, not build, not protect, not be a father. Do you follow me? That's where desire can lead to good things, connection, affection. So in verse 7 and 8 of 2 Samuel chapter 12, when he says, I would have given you more. And then here's the rebuke. In verse 9, it says, but you took. 3 gives, 1 take. That's the confrontation of Nathan, helping David to see what he had done, the reality of what he had done. The sin, though, wasn't the fire and the desire. It was the taking. It was the fact that it was another man's wife. David stopped trusting Papa as a giver, and he reached for what wasn't his. In verse 10, it says, you actually despised me. The wound was against the giver, not just Uriah. It was against Uriah, of course, and Bathsheba. But the focus is not about the desire. It's about lack of trust and taking. When you have an orphan breath, an orphan spirit, You believe nobody's going to provide for you. But then I must go take. Where when you have Papa's breath, an understanding of knowing we have a good Papa, a good Father, we can function and operate as sons and daughters. Then we know more is always coming. Even like Father says, because I would have added much more. It's very powerful. Then let's look at even how Father commands us to have intimacy and connection with our bride. Verse, it's Proverbs 5:15-19 says, Papa doesn't say burn less. He actually tells us shaga, which is to be staggered, to reel and be intoxicated by her, always by her love. Every man staggers over women at one point or another. The only question is, whose woman are you staggering over? Is it your wife? Because he wants husbands to be consumed by her, intoxicated by her. It's such a good thing. It is. And that's the art of pursuit, the art of passion, and letting that fire burn for your wife. The orphan takes what he wants, where the son and daughter receives what Papa gives. Guess what? Papa always gives abundantly. This is what's so amazing. David had everything given to him, and he reached out and took Bathsheba anyways. The taking never satisfies. It's a greed. It's a lust to take what's not yours. There's been many men that I've mentored over the years and women, and you can see when trust in the giver gets restored that they are empowered. Trusting Father and knowing, they stop grabbing and taking. They start receiving and believing in a better marriage, a better relationships. Fire aimed at your wife builds epic intimacy, passion, desire. But when you have fire leaking elsewhere, that's going to burn you. It's real. He designed it for our marriage. Put that fire in the fireplace. Warm your wife with that fire. I assure you, it will bring much blessings and much effort. Now, the art of pursuing her and fulfillment of that desire, now that's a whole nother training. And it is a powerful thing to be able to desire her and pursue her. Our process triggers to triumph. We have 3 core activities, right? Triggers to triumph, MVP, Epic 30. Through Epic 30, you can definitely pursue her and connect with her. But through Triggers to Triumph, you can ask the question of my old story, where in my life am I taking instead of trusting? Where am I taking instead of trusting? It's a very valuable process to look at and very important for us to know and understand. Father designed it to be I'm giving, she's giving, blessing her, loving her, and being blessed by her. It's a reaping and sowing. It really is. And it works. But desire is so good and so beneficial. I want to challenge you. Make sure you're writing a new story. Make sure you're working on your marriage. And part of the process of being able to work on your marriage in a faithful, consistent, grateful way is through our Epic 30. 30 minutes of connection with your bride, expressing gratitudes and worthies over her. What you're grateful for about her, what she's worthy of, blessing her, speaking life and blessings over her, understanding and knowing her dreams, and then speaking those things over her and supporting her in those dreams. It matters. Your children, their goals, their dreams. What do you love and like most about your children, your wife, your loved ones? For women watching, for your husband, for your children, for your loved ones. It's important to create the passion and fire through words of life, words of encouragement. Bring that intimacy, love, and affection and connection through it. Tomorrow, take the day off from speaking live, but I'll be back Friday to finish up this 3-part series. We're going to look at Friday what Jesus actually said about looking at a woman, not what you've been told. You might be surprised. If you followed directions yesterday, I'd love to see a thumbs up. If you've been watching my recording in this series, 3-part series, day 1 was about design in the garden, that Father did design us to have passion and desire and pleasure. Today we talked about direction, that we're supposed to give and receive but not take. Day 3 tomorrow, or Friday, excuse me, we're going to talk about freedom and what Jesus actually has said about freedom and passion and desire, love, affection, and pursuit, like a lion, what that looks like. So I'm grateful that you showed up today. I'm grateful that you're here with me and my partner, Miss Kalea. God bless you in your journey. My name is Carlos Campos. Yes, my wife and I, we are known as the Amish Matchmakers. Why? Because we've helped over 30 couples, and most of them, like 80-90% of those that we have helped, those 30 couples, have been part of the Amish culture. So it is how we got our reputation. We are not Amish ourselves, but we do. We love to match up Amish singles with godly spouses, and then we create epic marriages, and we develop legacies that are rooted in faith, freedom, and above all else, love. God bless you.